Good day, learners! Welcome to another fun and exciting episode of English Talk. I am Mom SJ, your teacher and companion for a better way to understand today's lesson. But before we start, here are our learning objectives. Number 1, differentiate biases from prejudice. And number 2, determine statements and words as bias or prejudice. For our first activity, I will be showing you pictures of men and women doing different types of work. Try to look closely at each picture and describe what you have noticed about the men and women in each print. What do the pictures reveal about the men and women? Yes, you are correct. The pictures shows that the women are busy doing household chores and the men are doing physically demanding and dangerous jobs. Should women always be portrayed as doing the household chores and men doing dangerous jobs? Why? This should not be the way. Both sexes can do different types of jobs. Nowadays, male and female are given equal rights and opportunities. We are not now classified by gender. Regardless if you are a male or a female, you can freely choose what job suits your skills. Sometimes in our life, we tend to judge someone without getting the facts first. And there are also times people judge us based on what they believe. These thoughts and actions are what we call bias and prejudice. You may say that they are both the same, but there is a fine line between them. Let us define the two. First is bias. It is a tendency to lean in a certain direction, either in favor of or against a particular thing. It is a personal opinion that is one-sided, lacking a neutral viewpoint, or not having an open mind, resulting in unfairness. While prejudice refers to a preconceived opinion or feeling toward a person based solely on their affiliation with the group. This results to discrimination because a person's opinion is based on feelings, not facts, which simply means to prejudge others. For better understanding, let's look at some examples. Number 1. Female teachers give more attention to girls. Number 2. He won the contest because one of the judges is his father. Number 3. She got hired because of her looks. Clearly that the given examples show bias. A person's decision is based on preference, personal choice, or taste. For comparison, let's change the sentences to prejudice. For sentence number 1, female teachers are less patient with boys. The teacher has a negative evaluation on boys, thus making it prejudice. Sentence number 2. He couldn't enter the contest because he was black. This shows racism. He was discriminated because of his color. Remember, discrimination is prejudice. Sentence number 3. She didn't get the job because she had a visible tattoo on her arms. This situation shows us prejudice. She was discriminated because of her tattoo. Let us now apply what you have learned today. Get ready with your pen and paper and be ready to detect bias and prejudice. Look at the following images carefully and identify whether it shows bias or prejudice. You have 5 seconds to come up with an answer. Number 1. Time's up. Is it a bias or a prejudice? You are right. The image shows prejudice. Due to the spread of COVID-19 that began in Wuhan, China, some people have prejudice towards Chinese. They have the misconception that the virus is caused by the people of China. Now the second picture. Pens up. Does it show bias or prejudice? Very good. This image shows bias as it reflects the superiority of male workers when it comes to financial development than female workers. The favor is towards men. Our gender should not limit our development. Both male and female are capable of improving themselves in all aspects of life. We should not be biased against someone because they are a female or a male. Let us detect if it is a bias or prejudice on the third image. Time's up. You are correct. This is an example of bias. The scene shows that a female character tries on a dress for the approval of a male character. The latter appears displeased with her choice of clothes, saying she looks like a Filipino maid. The caption is offensive for Filipinas. There is a negative connotation in the use of the word Filipina. Did you get the first three items correct? Wow! If yes, good job! Let's now have the fourth image. Pens up! What is your answer? You got it again! This is an example of prejudice. The way the people in the image look at the Muslim women shows that they hate the women. The preconceived negative characteristics of Muslim people made many people think that Muslims are bad. You are now on the final test. Let us now see if you can get a perfect score on this activity. You are correct. This shows bias. Why? It is a bias because the image shows favor towards the girls. There is no scientific explanation that girls are smarter than boys. Both genders are capable of being smart in whatever field they choose. Well done, students! You are able to identify and differentiate bias and prejudice. Let's do some more exercises to see how good you are in detecting bias and prejudice. Be ready again with your pen and paper. Read the situations carefully and identify whether it shows bias and prejudice. Explain why you said so. Are you ready? Let's start! What is your answer? Yes, it is biased. Why? Oreo was not yet convicted. Maybe the trial is ongoing. He is a suspect or a lawbreaker, but calling him criminal is too offensive. Second situation, please read and answer. Your answer? Yes, this is a form of prejudice. The reason maybe is that Aji has this mindset that females should be the one doing the chores, like what he used to see in social media or even at home. Third situation. Very good. Whiskey has prejudice towards kids. Maybe he had a not so good experience with kids at the supermarket. That's why he does not like kids. Next one. Yes, this is another example of prejudice. Because of the social status of Jason, Mr. Santos would not let him marry his daughter. For the final situation. Obviously, this is biased. Why? Because the decision was based on Anna's subjective opinion in favor of a particular thing. Wow! You really did great in differentiating biases and prejudice. Now, for your final exercise. Are you ready? Let's begin. Identify if the statement is true or false. Number 1. Prejudice is the opinion or viewpoint while discrimination is the action. Answer? True. Nice. Number 2. If someone is thinking poorly of another person for his belonging to a certain race or for having different religious beliefs, then he has prejudice. Answer: true. Good job. Number 3. Bias and discrimination are alike. Answer: false. Very good. Number 4. Prejudice is taking action based on a discrimination. Answer: false. That's great. Number 5. The tendency to favor one person, group, thing, or point of view over another, often in an unfair way, is called bias. Answer: true. You're awesome. Congratulations, students. You are able to detect the bias and prejudice in the given activities. As human beings, we have the tendency to have biases and prejudice, but it should not get out of hand that may cause discrimination towards others. Before we close our today's lesson, check yourself first using the fishbone organizer. In your own words and understanding, differentiate biases and prejudice. Let us see if we have the same answer. Good job! You did great in differentiating biases and prejudice. Congratulations! Well done, learners! Remember that to treat everyone fairly and equally. Be sensitive to others without being biased and prejudiced. Share what you have learned today with your families and friends. Learning is fun when you are motivated to learn. That's it for now. See you next time. Bye!